Okay, so for the third installment in this little series, I'm going to do some slightly more advanced stuff in terms of like how you build probably more of a kind of few campaigns for um, a kind of overall account build in the real world. Now, first things first, I've noticed that I've got this bit of headline one is actually slightly too long at 31 characters. So I'm just going to delete the indoor bit so it fits in. This is what is nice when you have something that highlights it in red when you do too many rather than just having to see it with your eyes. But I think let's fix that. So that's pretty much worked for that. I think the main thing I would look at really is keywords. So obviously these are all our generic campaigns. So there's no reason not to have some keywords that put the hive in front of these. So if someone's searching for the hive climbing course or the hive bouldering gym, again, like it kind of depends on what their click-through rate is on their organic search, but in my experience, branded keywords tend to be like the most high. You get the highest click-through rates and the highest conversion rates. So you tend to get really good performance from branded keywords. So what I'm probably going to do to make the brand campaign is actually going to be super, super easy because I can just select all the keywords that I've made already, copy them, paste them underneath, and I'm just going to rename this. Instead of generic, these are going to be brand. So I'm just going to select this whole column, and in fact the column next to it, and I'm going to find and replace. I'm going to replace gen with brand. Okay, so that's the kind of campaign names and the ad group names sorted with those. The CPC bids don't matter too much really. As I kind of have said before, generally brand campaigns tend to be way, way, way cheaper and way less competitive. So the main thing I need to do now is like fix up my keywords because obviously the fact that I've changed the campaign name and the ad group name doesn't really mean anything. So in terms of my broad match keywords, it doesn't really matter which order they're in. So I'm probably just going to put the hive after these. So I'm just gonna insert one extra column. This is just going to be like a kind of working column to kind of add things on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the equal sign. I'm going to get that cell and I'm going to use the and sign and a quote to add on a bit more text. And the text is going to be a space because I don't want it to all be one word. Plus the plus hive. Close my quotes. And magically it's put the hive on the end of everything. So that's pretty much all I need to do with my broad keywords because, you know, if someone searches for the hive bouldering course or bouldering course the hive, it's all kind of the same. So I'm just going to copy those and I'm going to paste the values over here, like post special, paste values, and get rid of these. So that's my broad match modified ones. However, my exact match ones probably need to be a bit more specific. So I probably want to have the hive bouldering course as well as bouldering course the hive. So I'm just going to do it. I could have done it using the keyword multiplier tool as well. But whatever, I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. So I'm just going to do equals and use the quotes again because I'm going to just write some text. The hive with the space. Close the quotes, use the and symbol and that cell. Essentially, we're just saying I'm going to have a piece of text with the space and add on whatever's in this cell. So I've got the hive bouldering course. So I'm just going to drag that down and those keywords all look nice. And in fact, I'm going to make one more column because, where's it going? Because as well as having the hive before, I also want to have the hive after. So I'm going to use the equals thing again. I'm going to use this cell. I'm going to use the and symbol, open the quotes. I'm going to do a space so it doesn't all join up, and the hive, and close the quotes. And if I just drag this across, you will see that I now have the Hive bouldering courses as well as bouldering courses the Hive. So got my 2 variations, which I'm pretty happy with. But how are we going to actually build these? Well, I'm going to need to copy and paste this twice because essentially I've got this variation and that variation. So I can't just copy this column into that column because then where will these ones go? So I'm just going to copy all these again and paste them down at the bottom. And one set of them is going to have the Hive first. So let's say the top ones are going to have the Hive first. So I'm just going to copy them, paste them as values in here. And then I can just kind of delete these bits. And then the other ones, which I pasted down here, I'm going to copy the second column and paste them into here as values. Okay, so now if I just delete these, I don't actually have any use for these columns anymore. They were just I was just using them to kind of add things together. So let's delete those columns quickly. And if I apply my filter again, because you can see my filter is only applying across these 3 columns, so I'm just going to remove the filter and add it again. And I'm just going to sort by ad group name one more time. So you can see now that if I look at my brand bouldering courses broad, I've just got the Hive after everything. But on exact, I've got the Hive bouldering courses, and I've also got the bouldering courses, the Hive, the other way around. So I've now got loads of like branded keyword variations. To be honest, I really don't think these are going to drive a lot of traffic, but it's really good to have them there just to make sure that when someone is searching for the brand, that we're definitely getting them onto our website and we're not losing them somewhere else. In terms of our bids, I don't generally use Keyword Planner to kind of to check what my brand bids should be, because generally brands just want to be in position 1. So let's say for our brand ones, we're just going to do, what's the best way to do this? Let's do a filter. Let's just select our branded ones and we can sort by our match types. And let's just say our broad ones, we're going to do it at $3, and our exact ones, we'll do it at $4 or something like that. Now we've kind of already discussed how our brand keywords actually tend to be the cheapest ones. So I'm not expecting to spend $3 or $4 on these clicks. I'm not expecting these clicks to be super cheap, but I'm just putting it at that price to make sure that we're always in position 1, because it looks kind of weak if you're in position 2 for your own branded keyword. So that's kind of our branded keywords added with our max CPCs. And there's actually one thing which we haven't got, which I mentioned, which is going to be our kind of pure brand campaign. Because you'll notice, we've got 4 campaigns. We've got brand bouldering, brand climbing, generic bouldering, generic climbing. But having a pure brand campaign is going to be really good. So let's just call that pure brand, and the pure brand campaign is literally going to be the keyword the Hive, and also I'm going to have of course my pretty much modified version, so the Hive like that. So I can just call this whatever, pure brand exact, and can we call this pure brand broad? Very straightforward. Again, we're going to have exact match and broad match. We can still have the same landing page, and again we can just have the exact match one at $4 and the broad one at $3. Okay, and one thing to bear in mind now is that I've made a bunch of extra ad groups which have got keywords in, but we haven't got ads in. So this is another situation which is going to be awesome, because it's going to be super straightforward, because in terms of making those brand keywords, I don't really need to write new ad copy for the branded stuff because the messaging can be exactly the same whether someone's searching for the Hive or not. So all I need to do really is just select all of these ads, copy them, paste them below, and all I really did was I just changed the name of the campaigns and ad groups from gen to brand, didn't I? So I can literally just find and replace gen with brand here, and that's as simple as it is in terms of making all the ads for our branded ones. The only thing that's missing is that I did have this pure brand one, so I'm going to need to add those in at the bottom too. So let's have 2 rows for each. And with branded stuff, when it's pure brand, it really doesn't matter about getting the ad copy super specific. But I am just going to put a filter across everything. Just going to sort by ad group name. Just make sure the filter is on everything. Yep. And where's our pure brand? It's right at the bottom. Okay. So I just need 2 variations for each one. I think they like to be called bouldering primarily. So, and I might not do it so much about courses. I'm probably just going to do these kind of fairly generic ones. And pretty much just paste them in there. Hi bouldering gym. Thank you, stop bouldering gym. Yeah, so, it's pretty generic messaging. It's just saying, this is the Hive. It's a bouldering gym. We're awesome. And that's pretty much it. So we've basically taken our generic keyword build out. We've added branded keyword variations, which can enable us to kind of pick up some extra high click-through rate, low cost clicks. And we've also added the brand name itself. And you could have something like the Hive Climbing Gym. We're still going to pick it up with the Hive keyword anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. And I'm not going to worry about that for now. But there you go. We've got brand and we've got generic keywords, which has actually meant that we've got 153 keywords now, which is pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure that our brand ones aren't really going to contribute much to our spend, but that's okay. And we've also built out all our branded ads, which are going to be exactly the same as our generic ads, because why not? And we've got our pure brand ads. So that's kind of the end of building out a full AdWords campaign for our client. Brand keywords and generic keywords with all the appropriate ads. Of course, still need extensions, but I'm not going to cover that because you can do that.